Welcome to the Connect the Dots series, Volume 2, Chapter 6 of the Power Narrative Podcast, The Bigger Picture. I am your host, B. Green, aka Belief Narrative, empowering you through awareness, inspiration, and motivation through the power of story. I know this is the part where I normally encourage people to like, subscribe, and comment and share the message with other people. But today, I just want to say thank you to those who do support. I'm grateful to be able to use this platform to do some good. There are trials that will come that will slam you so hard on the ground that you feel like your soul has cracked in half. Trust me, I know I'm speaking to somebody today. In the midst of darkness and frustration, and even the things that attempt to drown out your ability to be in awe of your blessings, look up. There will be something that is designed to get your attention that has a message of hope, a wake-up call. And once you start to become awake, you start to see those things more regularly. You start to anticipate seeing those wake-up calls, those nudges in the right direction, because they are there so that you can connect the dots. And so that you can see the bigger picture that you, in your time of sorrow, may not be able to see. Sometimes you're not ready to see the big picture, and that's okay too. I will share a story from my own life, an illustration that speaks to this. What I have grown to notice is patterns. Bookmark that concept because it will be coming up in another chapter. Trust me, it will. For me, I've noticed that when I get into the flow of using my gift of spreading positivity, the clapback is fierce. Something happens that attempts to silence me, to interrupt my growth, my consistency, my progression. Let's plug in. Since the 4th grade, I've struggled with vision, being naturally nearsighted. This has always been an issue for me because what I saw up close never matched what I felt about myself inside. When I got my first pair of glasses, kids do what they do, and they start picking. So the tool that I needed to fix my issue was the very thing that was drawing negative attention to me. I was allowing the ridicule of others to keep me from using what I was given to help me succeed. At the time, I wasn't ready to see the bigger picture. I was only used to being able to see what was right in front of me, and that can be a very dangerous place when what you see isn't pretty. Let's fast forward to a year ago. I had my eyes examined, and for the first time in my life, I not only needed corrective lenses to see distances, but also to see things up close. So they said you have the option of getting bifocals with the line in the middle, or getting progressive lenses. So I inquired about the progressive lenses, and they told me it takes quite a while to get used to because depending on where you look, you see something different. And I rejected the idea. I was only willing to see things one of two ways. And that line was drawn right down the middle. And to make matters even worse, I had them move that line down a little bit further than was recommended. Plus, I wasn't willing to pay the price. And because I wasn't willing to pay the price, I ended up paying the price, ultimately because my eyes were often irritated. The upper part of the lens was for distance, and it wasn't designed to look at the computer screen. And the part below was for reading, and that wasn't designed for that either. When I got my eyes re-examined a few weeks ago, I was done fighting. I was ready for those progressive lenses. I was ready to see the bigger picture. I was ready to see that there was more than just two ways to look at a situation. We often see things from the perspective of only good and bad. And if it doesn't work out the way that I want it to, it's automatically bad. There are energies, frequencies, signals that are fighting to keep your attention, fighting to keep you focused on all the wrong things. These energies, they're designed to keep you feeling low and undervalued so that you make undervalued decisions and respond to and participate in undervalued situations with people who would attempt to control you and even misrepresent that form of treatment as love. These low frequencies are all related to negativity, to low self-esteem, to illness, to depression, to anxiety, and to death. How are you ever going to reach a higher level when all you want to know about is the dirt? When you entertain shoe level nonsense, you also place yourself in a position where someone can put a shoe level foothold on your life. The big picture is what we're taught to avoid for several reasons. One, if I can get you to believe in only what's right in front of you, that image can be manipulated. Make it dismal enough, make it difficult enough, then you might be convinced to give up hope. Two, so that you believe that one thing is not connected to another, and you attempt to compartmentalize life. This idea causes us to be ineffective because we're a living, breathing, walking contradiction. It's this idea that I can live a double life. I can maintain my image of being wholesome and good and this family person over here, as long as I keep it separate from this other version of me that I can just be out there reckless out in these streets. And as long as the two shall never meet, as long as I can keep them separate, I'm good. But that's nothing but a lie. And as long as you believe you can do this, the only person that you fool is yourself, because everything is connected. I'm comforted by this next passage of scripture. And it says, a just man will fall 7 times, but rise again. But the wicked will fall into mischief. Only someone who understands the bigger picture can continue to get back up after they've been slammed to the ground continuously. The wicked never get the correct understanding of what they've been through. Therefore, they continue to try to outsmart the so-called system. The scripture paints a picture of Jacob becoming Israel. And the truth is that Israel was the bigger picture that Jacob at one time could not see. Because he couldn't see the bigger picture, he continued to do undervalued things. He continued to scheme and plot because he believed that that was the only way that you could get ahead in life. As he began to make that perspective shift, he began to understand the reasons behind his choices. That there were his plans and the difference between God's promise for the trajectory of his life. Connecting those dots was how he was able to hold on, to wrestle for the blessing of becoming. And all of his children struggled between being and acting as children of Jacob versus children of Israel. It was beautifully put in the scripture that the Creator made a testimony in Jacob, but a law for Israel. In other words, to say, your story of becoming, your transformation from Jacob to Israel is your testimony, your trials that you overcome. But to continue to maintain the highest version of yourself, there's a law that you have to follow. It's one thing to connect the dots, to see the bigger picture, and it's quite another to stay connected to that bigger picture of your life. Because there are going to be things that come along, energies trying to attack and change your focus and get you to undervalue yourself, to not believe that it's even possible that you can ascertain or become who it is that you are destined to be. But hold on, continue to wrestle with what it is that's going on, because you will become in time, in due season. These stories that are a part of your testimony, they are not to be excluded, but they're meant to be told. See, this is the problem with revisionist history, because they don't want to tell the complete story. They don't want to tell the good, the bad, and the ugly. They only want to tell what they want shown. And because of this, you leave out the most important part, and that's how you overcome. This is a part of the real of your life. That's a part of your real life. Not this painted picture perfect thing, but it's how it became this picture of greatness. The generations that are to come, they need to see the pitfalls. They need to see the valleys as well as the mountains. This way they understand your life as a guideline of things to expect, things to do, things not to do, what to embrace and what to avoid. So the challenge question is this: will you give up and give in to right now? Will you disconnect and settle? Or will you stay connected, believing in the bigger picture, and make all the pain worth it? To change the narrative in your life, take the next step. Invest in yourself and book a life strategy coaching session with me at www.beliefinteriordesign.com. Let's start the journey of making belief reality.